We're starting notes right now, Nemo. All right, graphing slope-intercept form. For some reason, that's real crooked. Getting it fixed. Don't know. There we go. All right, so first thing we're going to do is to do some definitions. We've defined slope the last 2 days, so we aren't going to write it again. Let's just flip back. So look at your B3, look at your B2. What does slope tell us, or what is it? A fraction. Good, a fraction that tells us how to move from point to point. So what are 2 things it tells us? What? Good, steepness and direction. So steepness is like how quick you're going to go down that hill or how hard it's going to be to walk up the hill. Direction means is it going up, down, straight across. Okay. How do we find slope? What are our 2 ways? What did we do on B2? How did we find slope?
Rise over run.
Good, rise over run. And then on B3, yesterday, how did we find slope? No, yesterday we used our handy dandy formula that Selma didn't write down there, but she used it.
Y2 minus Y1.
Good, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Dude. Once you set it like super far away, so it takes effort to get to it. Now it's too easy. All right, so we don't need to do that one again. If you feel like you really want to write slope again, go for it, but I'm not going to. Let's do y-intercept. Y-intercept. So y-intercept sounds like what? What does intercept sound like to you? Like where they come together?
Yeah, like where they come.
Yeah, like if you think of like an interception in football or an intercept in soccer, what does that mean to have an intercept? Yeah, they like crossed over your line, they went where you wanted it to go, and they grabbed it, right? Sometimes the ball's getting thrown to Jay, it's coming perfectly, but I'm going to run and just grab it in front of him, right? Okay, so intercept, another word that sounds like intercept is intersect. So I'm going to write intersect below it. If that intersect helps you, you can write that. If you're like, I don't know what intersect means, don't write it. That would be silly. Okay, so y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis. Where the line crosses the y-axis. What do you think we're going to call it when it crosses the x-axis? X-intercept. We're not going to worry about that one today, but eventually we'll do that. X-intercept is where it crosses the x-axis. Y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. All right, so next up after that, we have the actual slope-intercept form. No? What you doing on piece of paper? Let's move it in. Better? Yeah. All right, slope-intercept form. This is going to be the big one that we're talking about for the next couple of days. So I'm going to put it in all capital letters. If you want to put it in all capital letters, you can. Or you can underline it. Or you could highlight it. Put a squiggly mark underneath it. Okay, slope-intercept form. Still can't figure out why it's so crooked, but that's okay. All right, slope-intercept form. This one is one that all your brains, when I asked you guys about slope, a lot of you said this, but it wasn't actually for slope. Okay, take a look on your front cover. See if you can figure out on your front cover what looks really familiar to you. Slope-intercept form is there on the front cover. The graphing. Yeah, that y equals mx plus b. This is a really big part of algebra. It's a big part of algebra 1 that you took last year. This year we're going to deal with it a little bit, but not as much, but it's a big part right now. So y equals mx plus b. Okay, and in that y equals mx plus b, what is our m? Slope. And today we're going to be working with slope on a graph because we're graphing slope-intercept form. So slope on a graph, how do we do that? What over what? Rise over run. Okay, so I'm just going to make a mark there that that's what we're doing today. That stands for our rise and our run. And then B stands for the Y-intercept. That's why it's called slope-intercept form, is because we have two numbers in the equation. One number stands for the slope, the other one stands for the Y-intercept. Why do you think we don't call it slope Y-intercept form?
It's too long.
Yeah, it'd be too long, and there's already a hyphen, the little dash, slope-intercept. So there'd be two dashes, it'd be like slope dash Y dash intercept, it'd be two dashes. Grammarly would look at you and be like, you're crazy. That's all Grammarly, right? Okay, so that is called slope-intercept form, but when we say slope-intercept form, we're really talking about slope and Y-intercept. All right, what you are going to do is on your tables, you have these. You are going to glue this into your notes. I'm going to do 2 on this page, so I'm just going to cut right here, just one cut. I'm going to glue 2 at the bottom of this page, so I have some room to show my work. And I'm going to put the other one on the next page. So there's glue sticks in your bins, there's scissors in your bins. No, I want those together. Okay, make sure that your y-axis, the one highlighted in yellow, is going up and down, because that's the y-axis, which goes up and down. You think you got the wrong one. That's from a while ago. Yeah, because you weren't here at the beginning. Give me 1 second. Thanks. Please make sure your caps get put back on your glue sticks. You should only have 3. So this is what I did. I'm trying to zoom out here. I did 2 on my one paper on the bottom, so I have some room up here to show my work, and then I did 1 on the other side. Well, I just didn't fit all 3 together on there. It would have been too close. I don't know. You do natural or anything? If you want to. You might just have to write really small. I put that one at the bottom of this page. Yeah. It's okay. We aren't going to use the top of it. We're going to use the bottom of that one. So I would put it here, put these on the bottom, and maybe put this one over here. If you have yours open like this one, sorry, Maddie. You might put 2 on the bottom, and if you have an open page here, maybe you put 1 on the side over here. It's up to you. Thanks. Please make sure the caps get put back on your glue sticks. I lost a cap the other day. We had a funeral for almost a full glue stick. It was very sad because the cap was gone. All right, going to give you about 30 more seconds to get those glued in. Share your glue stick. I saw Antoinasia has hers all on one page. She figured it out. Nice job. Way to go. Rock star. My other class, we used really big graphs. Figured it was just a mess. So I have 2 on one page, the 3rd on the other. If you want to cut them apart, you can. Antoinasia, give me yours quick. Can I show yours? It's just so good. Hers is so good, you guys. She split them apart like this, so she has space off to the side. So fancy. So fancy. All right. Anyone need more time to glue them in? We good? We're not good? A little bit more time, Salma. So you have 3 examples that we're going to do in class. I'm going to just draw a line down this to split them apart so I know this is one example, this is one example. I just like lines. Especially this is about lines. If you're finished with your glue stick and your scissors, you can put those back. And you might want to take out a ruler. There's these miniature rulers that are colored, and they're generally at the bottom. There should be enough for everyone at your table to have one. Alright, here we go with example 1. For example 1, we have y equals -3/4, and then the x goes next to that 3/4, plus 2. Okay, y equals -3/4 x plus 2. Let me do you have your book? Why don't you do these ones with us? Alright, so does this look like slope-intercept form? Is it in that form y equals mx plus b? Yes, let's just write that right underneath it. Y equals mx plus b. Alright, so what is our slope? Slope is our m. And in this problem, what number represents our m? -3/4. What do we call that number that's right next to a variable?
Constant.
Close, that's the 2, a constant by itself. What's the number? Coefficient. Good, so the slope is always a coefficient. Okay, and then the y-intercept is always that constant. And when we do a y-intercept, we want to remind ourselves this is a point on the graph. So as a point on the graph, if I want to plot on this yellow line, what's my x going to be if I want to plot on the yellow line? 0. We don't move left or right. So y-intercept is always 0, comma, what's our b? 2. Good. So now on our graph, where do we have a starting point? Are we going to start just rising and running, or are we going to start at 0, 2? 0, 2. So on our graph, from the origin, I'm going to go up 1, 2. It should be on the yellow, and you're making a nice solid point there. So there's 0, 2. Okay, some things we're going to think about as we do this is our slope positive or negative? Our slope? Negative. So is our line going to go up this way, or is it going to go down? Down. So as we go, that's just a good check for us that we want to make sure it goes down. So we're going to think about our rise and our run. So over here, I'm going to make that little mark. Rise, run. So what is my rise? It's going to be -3, which tells us we're going to go up or down? Down 3. And then my run is 4, and it's a positive 4. So is positive going to be left or right?
Right.
Right is positive, yep. So that tells me how to move from this point to my next point. So I'm going to start at the 2. We're going to go down 3. 1, 2, 3. Don't make a point yet, because now we need to go over 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to show that one more time. From this ordered pair, we go down 1, 2, 3, and then we go over 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Another thing that we can do one more point on this graph. Instead of going down and to the right, what's the opposite direction I could go in?
Up and to the left.
Good, up to the left. So we're going to go up how many? 3, and then left 1, 2, 3, 4. I always like to make as many points as I can. That helps me make sure that I'm doing it right, and that they should all end up on a nice straight line. We want arrows on both ends, because what do those arrows tell us? It's going to keep going on and on and on and on and on forever and ever and always. All right, we have 2 more examples. And then you get the rest of the time to practice. All right, number 2. I'm matching this with my second graph, so if you didn't paste yours in the same way I did, make sure you're kind of with your second graph here. Number 2, we have y equals 3x minus 4. So does this look like y equals mx plus b? It's pretty close. What's kind of the big difference? Yeah, there's a minus. So we're just going to keep that in mind when we get to the b. It's really a minus 4. It's not a plus 4. Okay, so what is our slope? 3, our coefficient, 3. And what is my y-intercept? How would I write it as an ordered pair? Good, 0, negative 4. So where on the graph are we starting from? From the origin, and where are we going to make our first point? Down how many? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. How am I going to find my next point? We use our R words, our rise and our run. So with 3, what is our rise? 3, is that up or down? Up 3. And what's our run? How did you know it was going to be a 1? Good. If we make 3 a fraction, anytime we have a whole number to make it a fraction, we can always put it over 1. So it's a positive 1. Is that going to go to the right or to the left? Right. And we know it's a positive slope. So in our heads, we should be thinking, yep, it's going to go this way somehow. Okay, so from that point, we're going to go up 3. 1, 2, 3, over 1. And we can keep making those points over and over again from point to point. So I'm going to do it again. Up 1, 2, 3, over 1. You technically only need 2 points, but I like to make more than 2 points because it just helps me know that I'm getting a nice straight line. 1, 2, 3, over 1. Especially if I'm somewhere where I don't have a straight edge. So we're just repeating that rise and run over and over again. Up 3, over 1. Up 3, over 1. Up 3, over 1. Could be like a song. Just kidding. That'd be a really boring song. All right, ready for your last one? Need a little bit more time? I'm seeing a couple people using their rulers. All right, I did my last one on the next page. There's a lot of you who fit it all into one page, though. Good job. Rock stars. I don't know. Not my talent. All right, number 3. Y equals negative 1/5 x plus negative 6. So do we know our m? Good. Negative 1 over 5 or negative 1/5. And what is our B? Good. If I want it as an ordered pair, be 0, negative 6. So where are we going to start? Yeah, can we just finish this one? The B, and the B is at, okay, and I highlighted your yellow y-axis, so down negative 6. You always want to be on that y-axis. If people make mistake on this, it's that they want to put it on the x-axis. They say Y-intercept. So it always goes on a y-axis. All right, now for our slope. What is our rise going to be?
Up negative 1 over 5.
Okay, so rise is negative 1. If we do a negative 1, is that telling us to go up or down? Down 1. And then 5 would be to the right or to the left? To the right. So from this point, we're going to go down 1. Whoop. Can't. So what are we going to do instead? Yeah, we're going to go up 1. We're going to make it a positive 1. And then what happens with the run? Yeah, we're going to go left, so then it's going to be a negative 5. So we actually switch the negative so it's on the bottom. So we'll go up 1, and then left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And can we make another point on this one? Yep. So it's just those 2 points. This is a very gradual slope. This would be one that you should feel comfortable walking down just fine. I would feel comfortable skiing down that slope. I don't like to ski a lot down slopes, but that one I'd feel comfortable skiing down. Okay, so with those negatives, if you can't go down, you can always switch it to you're going up, but when you go up, you're going to go to the left. All right, you have a worksheet today. We're going to do one problem together.
Is it just this simple right here?
It's this, the whole thing, yeah. 9 questions. We're going to do one problem together. If you want to get started, you can. We're going to do problem 9 together. So if you want to get started at number 1, you can. Yep, paper today. Graphing is really hard to do on Schoology. It's also really hard to do when you don't have graph papers, so giving you guys graph paper to make it easier. When you turn in homework, where do you turn in homework? What? Yeah, go real fast. Okay, remember you turn them in the back. We're going to do number 9 now that you test. You did, and then I pulled it out. You aren't strong enough. Just kidding, you are. All right, so go ahead and put your name on it. We're going to do number 9 together. If you want to start on number 1, you can, if you're waiting. If you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing, and just wait until we do number 9.
Wait, how do we get the 5 more?
What? All right, put your name at the top. Please make sure you put your name. This class has been doing a really great job with names. So far, I've gotten only one thing turned in this class without a name. Don't put Miss Morell there. That's my name. You put your own name there. All right, to start off with, in these boxes, what goes in this first box with the M? Slope. And what is our B? Ooh, I love that you guys said Y-intercept. It's not just an intercept, it's our Y-intercept. If you want to, you can grab a highlighter if it helped you in the notes to have our Y-axis highlighted. You could go through and highlight your Y-axis, the ones that go up and down. If that's going to help you remember where to start, you should do that. All right, so our directions say use the slope and y-intercept to graph each equation below. The graph, if extended, will cross a letter. Print this letter in each box that contains the number of that exercise. So we're going to answer the question, what do you call an accountant sitting by themselves? It's a very funny joke. I made it up myself. Can't even Google this one. So smart. All right, so we're going to do number 9. Because we didn't do one that looked exactly like this in your notes. I think a lot of you can figure it out, though. Does this look like y equals mx plus b? No. What part do we know, though?
That the slope is 5 over 3.
Yeah, that's the m. How did you know that was going to be the m and not the b?
The x is on that there.
Good. It's a coefficient. It's right with that x. So our slope is 5 over 3. So I need to figure out what can I add on that I don't have to write every time. What? 0. With adding, we can always add 0 on. So our b is 0. 0, 0. What's another word for that point? 0, 0? Origin. So we're going to start on that origin, that 0, 0, the middle point. And then what is our rise? 5. So are we going to go up or down? Up. And run is 3. To the left or to the right? To the right, to the positives. You don't have to do those arrows if you do not want to. Those arrows are more for me to tell me how to move. I like them. If you don't like them, don't do them. So from this point, I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, over 1, 2, 3. That's all you need to do, but if you wanted to put in another point, how else could I have moved from the origin? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then left. 1, 2, 3. All right, so now if we draw our line through that, what letter are we going to cross out? A. So if you care about that joke is kind of nice because it's a good check. You should always be crossing out one letter in each of these problems. This time we crossed out A, and this was problem number 9. So anywhere we see a 9, we're going to throw an A. Okay, just a quick heads up.